This is 7 National News, and in our top story, the UAE Vice President, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, chaired the UAE Cabinet meeting on Tuesday and endorsed a draft federal law on children's rights. His Highness stressed that all children, without discrimination, have the right to a safe life, emotional and psychological stability, constant care and protection against any dangers or violations. Children's care should come first, and their basic needs and rights are a must to achieve. He added that there will be no leniency with people who violate the rights of children. Sheikh Mohammed ordered that the law would be named Wudima's Law in reference to the 8-year-old girl who was allegedly murdered by her father and buried in the desert. Sheikh Mohammed said the new law covers all aspects related to children's rights and contains mechanisms that ensure its implementation, as well as punishments that will thwart people whose morals and religious beliefs do not stop them from violating the rights of children. Also present during the meeting were Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General His Highness Sheikh Saif bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Presidential Affairs His Highness Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan. In the UAE, it is estimated that 1 out of 5 people between the ages of 20 to 79 live with diabetes. In 2011, 32.6 million people in the Middle East were known to have the disease, a figure which is expected to reach 59.7 million in 2030. These staggering statistics prove the urgent need for prevention efforts. Today marks World Diabetes Day, which is observed globally in over 160 different countries. The International Diabetes Federation announced that this year's campaign is titled Diabetes, Protect Our Future. Representatives stressed that the social and economic impact of the disease needs to be minimised, as more than 346 million people are living with it worldwide. And by the end of 2030, this figure is likely to more than double. With over 200 diabetic associations playing their part in the initiative, the UAE has issued a handy information book which lists what to eat when travelling and reminds those with the disease to adjust their glucometer's date and time when entering different time zones. The guidelines are endorsed by local health authorities and government entities and were compiled by the non-for-profit company Decide.
The most important thing as well I would like to add for the travelers is to make sure that they carry on their medication whenever they are moving from one country to another, because especially when I'm talking about the diabetic patients or any other chronic diseases. And also to make sure that they manage to know the time differences, especially if they're traveling overseas. You know, time differences means different time to take their medication. And specifically for diabetic patients, to carry their glucometer with them and to do the regular checkup as per the doctor's instructions. Poor management of diabetes will lead definitely, unfortunately, to health consequences which is really not desirable.
Meanwhile, Dr. Wafa Helmi Ayash, the director of the Clinical Nutrition Department at the Dubai Health Authority, hosted cooking classes on Tuesday and prepared diabetic-friendly dishes. Dr. Ayash added that eating healthily will avoid negative health consequences.
Diabetic patients can have anything they like as far as they can count what they eat. And the main thing they should count is carbohydrate. And the recipes which have been made today, that I tailor them for the patients with diabetic, and I've counted how many carbs in the dish, so they can eat and count and inject themselves or pump by the insulin pump how much insulin they need, so they can have exact amount of insulin works on their blood to tolerate whatever food they have taken.
The Road and Transport Authority have announced that parking across Dubai will be free of charge on Thursday for Islamic New Year. According to a local paper, parking will be free at all paid parking zones in the Emirate, apart from the Dira Fish Market and multi-storey car parks. The RTA's customer care and vehicle testing centres will also be closed on Thursday. However, the Dubai Metro will operate without any changes, with trains running from 5:30 a.m. till 1 a.m. a.m. The Al Gubeiba bus station will operate for 24 hours as usual, while the Union, Sabqa, Deira City Centre and Karamas stations will operate from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight. Water bus timings will also remain unchanged. There are currently 124 live mobile money deployments around the world, and by 2013 it is estimated that there will be 500 million mobile money users worldwide. Meanwhile, the value of mobile health services is expected to reach $10 billion within the next 5 years. The health market has already experienced year-on-year growth of 17% since 2010, a figure that is set to accelerate to 22% from this year to 2014. The transformational impact of mobile lifeline services and the latest in developments will be the focus of discussions next week, as Dubai is set to host the Connected World Forum on the 20th and 21st of November. According to Stuart Barker, the Director of Telecoms and Clarion Events, both mobile money and mHealth services are especially vital for emerging markets and rural areas.
What we're talking about in remote areas is a large kind of part of the population who don't have access to some of the services that you and I might take for granted. So being able to just walk into a bank or being able to access kind of infrastructure that allows people to get either financial services or health services. But obviously the great advantage of the mobile is that it can be ubiquitous, so spreading out kind of over all sorts of areas where it's very difficult to roll out other infrastructure. It's actually relatively easy to get a mobile network and mobile communications coverage. And by providing things like mobile financial services and mobile health, you suddenly open up not just a communications channel, but a channel to a whole host of what we would consider as being fairly rudimentary, fairly basic services to large parts of the population who otherwise don't have access to it. And we've always had good support from local operators. But what we're really seeing this year is we're getting both operators but also a lot of the local banks coming along. And we're just seeing continued growth, and that's why we keep the event within UAE and within Dubai.
And up next, we'll have today's business news, so stay with us.